Hey guys, welcome back to You Are Here. I'm your host, Danny, and this is a podcast all about growing up and figuring it out together. Today is a very exciting episode. I am talking about 2024. Consider this my 2024 faves wrapped, I'm just going to reflect on my year, talk about things that I loved, all from things to do with like media or clothes or accessories or um books that I've read, movies that I saw, things like that, places I visited, people, everything. So I'm really excited. It's just gonna be a very chill one, fun. Hopefully you get inspired to reflect on your year as well and think about what you want to see in 2025. And I feel like there's no better way to do that than by going back a little bit, So let's get into it. Lot of visual aids in this episode, so you definitely should come on YouTube to watch all of this. It's kind of like a slideshow of all my favorites, so I'll include photos of the books, of the pictures of New York and of Ohio and all my friends and my family and things that I loved. So definitely come watch on YouTube. First thing I have on my list is books. I love reading. I've always loved reading since I was younger, and so I have read, I think, like over about 30 books this year, which is so insane. Like, I can't believe I've actually gotten to that number. And I have enjoyed a majority, really, of all the books that I've read, but I have my top 4. And I think, in addition, I think reading is very important. My top 3 books are actually all fiction books, and I'll tell you the books, and then I'll talk about why they're important to me. Throne of Glass, specifically the first one, Sarah J. Maas. I have gotten into obviously the whole universe. I'm stuck on Empire of Storms because I've gotten distracted with other books I wanted to read. But the first Throne of Glass book is so exceptional. Like, that is the only way to explain it. Obviously, once you read the first one, you're going to want to read the whole series, but it's just such an incredible world. I've never been so invested in this kind of world, in the main character. Like, all of the story, all of the plot is just so brilliant. It's just a good time. So if you need something to escape into, Throne of Glass, so good. Or if you're a crazy person and you don't want to read the rest of the series, the first book is incredible. Like, it's just so good. And it's not too long. The next one that I have is A Secret History by Donna Tartt, which is an incredible book as well. I read that one the most recently. I read it last month, and it is incredible. It's about this group of academics, these students at this very prestigious college somewhere in Connecticut. I think it's Connecticut. And it just gets kind of spooky. They are very smart. They speak in Latin and in Greek and French, and it really is more of like a study of what being in this echo chamber can do to you. It is incredibly morbid and very interesting. These characters are so complex and also horrible. Like, there's not one redeeming quality about them all. And yeah, they're all just very complicated and very interesting. So that one is really great as well. The other one that I read was Normal People by Sally Rooney. Another incredible read. I did not expect to enjoy this book as much as I did. I've obviously heard so much about it. Like everyone, I saw the show before I read the book. And the book is incredible. The show, I think, did a great job depicting the book. It really was like word for word, which I thought was insane. But the book is so great. I think I loved how she tells a story about growing up, about class, about wealth, about opportunity through these two very, again, complicated, complex characters. And it was just so good. But I love fiction books for that reason. I think media literacy is something I am so sad that younger generations don't understand its importance, and the importance of of an incredible story that is captivating and complicated and nuanced sometimes is like what you need more than a real life story from history. Sometimes it's those people that aren't real, but that carry so much of like the spirit of humanity, even if it's all of its horrible, ugly parts. I just think it's so captivating and so important. Anyways, I think those are 3 fiction books that I have extracted so much from to just apply into my real life, which I think is very fun and very interesting. And I think it's the beauty of this medium of art, of writing and world building and etc. So anyways, love those 3. Now for the boring book. It's just a nonfiction book. It's called Unreasonable Hospitality. I may have mentioned it in another episode, but it's Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. He's incredible. It's about, I keep on saying the word incredible, but I literally don't have any other adjectives. I'm so sorry, and I'm annoying myself. What else can I say? It's excellent. It's awesome. It's cool. But he is so great. He was the manager of 11 Madison Park when it got to, or the general manager of 11 Madison Park, which was one of the best restaurants in the world. He shares his story. It's technically like his autobiography. He talks about growing up. He talks about being in the restaurant business. He talks about being coached and really what he did to build that team there, to build a great culture that then got them to that number 1 spot. But it's so much more than just that number 1 spot. And you will be encouraged, you will cry, you will be inspired to care about people and to go that extra mile in ways that are so practical and whimsical. And I think he was doing in real life what these fiction books are doing in these worlds. Like it's just magical to hear these stories. So you should definitely read that one. I don't think it's a very long book. It's not a very big book. It's also an audiobook, and he's actually the one who reads it. So if you're into audiobooks, you should also do that. Phenomenal. I've made everybody in my life read that book. Okay, now moving on to shows. I feel like I didn't watch a lot of shows this year, but the shows that I watched were so good. And 2 of them have been around for a long time, and the other 2 are new. So I'm going to flip-flop. The first one that I started watching this year was Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is a sitcom about like high school best friends that have a bar together in Philly, and they're just really dumb. Like everybody is equally as dumb as the other. And it's hilarious. Danny DeVito's in it. It's been around for literally ever. And I don't think the show's going on anymore, but it has like 12 seasons and the episodes are 20 something minutes long. They're so funny. The things that they're joking about are still funny. I don't even know. It's so amazing. If you've seen The Mindy Project, one of the main guys who's in Always Sunny oh my gosh, I'm going to get my wires. Okay. One of the love interests in Mindy Project is one of the main characters in Always Sunny. So I don't know if that is like a selling point. It's just a fact. Okay. Anyways, so funny. Definitely not everyone's sense of humor as well. Definitely more like tongue in cheek, very like crude, not in language because they can't really curse, but just like in topics, I suppose. So just putting that disclaimer. The next one is a serious show called Painkiller. And this is about it's about Purdue Pharma and the Sackler family, which is an incredible book about it that I have not read, but I need to, called The Empire of Pain. Anyways, this show is essentially about this book, Empire of Pain, and about this family and Purdue Pharma. And it is only, I think, 6 or 7 episodes. And it kind of just walks you through the journey of people becoming addicted to opioids, how the crisis began in this country, how the pharmaceutical companies got away with it, how they were encouraging their pharmaceutical agents or whatever you call them, reps, to sell to pharmacists and doctors. It is so fascinating. You will walk away from that show being changed forever. And I've heard the same thing happens with the book. But incredible show. Excellent cast. So good. Um, Matthew Broderick is one of the main characters. He plays like the main Sackler guy. Um, amazing, amazing. Okay, next one. Now, this is another one that has been around forever, but I did catch up just this year. Game of Thrones, which obviously, like, disclaimer on disclaimer on disclaimer, trigger warning on trigger warning. But I am late to the game, but I'm so glad I'm locked in. I'm here. That show is amazing. I cannot stop seeing it everywhere as well. I think the dynamics, again, back to the media literacy conversation. I think this is why art and why TV shows maybe that also are controversial are so important, because the way that this idea of family dynamics, of empire, of power, all of those things, whether we like it or not, they're still very much in play in our world today. And it's so incredible. That show, the production value is obviously crazy. The actors, actresses are amazing. I'm a Jon Snow girl till I die. And I loved it. I had the best time of my life watching that show. Me and my friends who had already seen it were like, when you get to this season, to this episode, we have to watch it together. So we had a few like viewing parties, which was great. Like I said, trigger warning on trigger warning. It is very gory. It's very bloody. It's very gruesome in like every way you can imagine. But I think the stories are amazing. They definitely, at least for me, they outweighed all of that because of what they had, what they were saying was so important. So yeah, I absolutely loved that show. And I am on House of the Dragon right now, having a more difficult time getting through that one, but I'm on House of the Dragon. Okay, my last show, back to a funny show, is Nobody Wants This with Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. I've loved Adam Brody since the OC, okay? And I loved this show. I watched it twice, and then I told everybody in my life to watch it. I think I saw it not in one night. I think I split it up into 2 nights, but I did finish it very fast. Oh my gosh, it was just so lovely. It was so cute. I have not felt those feelings since I watched like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or 10 Things I Hate About You or Legally Blonde. Like, I don't know. They were in their bag. I had such a good time. I loved it. I've loved Adam Brody since, yes, OC, but also even before that in Gilmore Girls. So it was just a really great time for me. Okay, love. Next, on to movies. I did watch a lot of movies this year. Again, there is a little bit of a catch-up game happening for my movies, but we're going to start off strong. Obviously, Wicked. Wicked changed my life. Saw the stage production when I was like 12. Changed my life then. Saw the movie. Cried every time. Watched it 3 times. Incredible. The vocal performances. Can't even say anything about them because they're that good. No words in any language actually describe how incredible Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande did in these roles. Obviously Jonathan Bailey, crush forever, for life. I really considered switching up my entire life and becoming an actor just for the chance to act opposite of Jonathan Bailey. But that's kind of crazy. And so, yeah. Anyways, I loved the movie. I thought, again, the messaging is so important. I think just the talk about about people making villains and rallying together around a villain. I think the conversation around acceptance of people that are different, or even like of systems that are unfair or unjust to people that look differently than you. I think all of those things are so relevant and so beautiful. And I think there's really no better time to bring the story up again and to talk about it. Anyways, incredible. I cannot wait for part 2. Yeah, the soundtrack made it to my Apple Music Wrapped as well. So I'm only listening to the soundtrack too. Okay, moving on. Again, I said a catch-up game. This is going to be a big one. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I had never seen that movie before. I can't believe I haven't, because it does feel right up my alley. I love Jim Carrey. I think he is so fascinating, such an interesting actor. And I find his roles to be really like what he would go for when he was younger is just so interesting to me. Um, but that this movie was so amazing. It's really stuck with me. I've thought about it ever since I saw it. Meet Me in Montauk, of course, gorgeous. Um, Kate Winslet's performance was so captivating from the jump. I was just like so enthralled by her character. I think Kirsten Dunst was so interesting too. I mean, Mark Ruffalo is in this film. Like, there are so many crazy. Oh, who's the guy from Lord of the Rings as well? One of the guys from Lord of the Rings is in it too. um, just amazing, amazing. I loved this movie. I think, you should watch it if you have never seen it before. It's also very clean. Like, there's really nothing dodgy in it. Um, yeah, it was so, so, so good. I highly recommend. Okay, and the next one, another catch-up game. Saw Oppenheimer for the first time this year. I actually saw it twice after seeing it. But oh my gosh, I get why everybody was losing their minds over this last year. Like, goodness. And I so regret not seeing it in theaters, of course. But wow, the story is so interesting. Like, Killian really deserved that Oscar. Like, 8 down for real. Yeah, highly recommend watching it. There's so many incredible like nuggets of wisdom, and it almost reads like, well, I mean, the whole thing is it reads like a Greek tragedy, something like that. I think it begins like that. But I think it's so it's like a cautionary tale of progress almost. It's amazing. Everyone needs to watch that movie. Okay, now moving on to personal things. That was fun. I love talking about media. I love consuming media. Fun things. I updated my room this year, which I totally recommend, especially going into the new year. If you're maybe in a place where you feel uncreative, uninspired, or exhausted every time you enter your space, totally recommend switching it up. I switched up my room. Oh, I guess you can kind of see it in the backdrops of previous videos. But yeah, now my room has kind of like a hotel setup, which I'm really into. And I really just like the vibe. I love being in my room. I love sleeping in here and like spending time in my room. So I totally recommend doing that. I kind of switched it up. I got a new bed frame from Amazon, and I got new blankets. I got some cute little side tables. I got the lamp behind me. It's just a good vibe in here. I also went to Daiso, which is a Japanese dollar store, my favorite place on earth. And I got some cute little mirrors and like frames and stuff. And yeah, I think I maybe put $200 into my room, and I have this brand new space that I'm so proud of and I love being in. And I think it's totally worth it if you are kind of in a similar space. Obviously, you can do way less than I did. Just go to Daiso and fix it up, get some storage things. I don't know. But I think refreshing your space is a really important, I mean, your space is just very important to who you are and to what you want to do. So I think it's important to, care about it and put some work into it and some dollars. Okay, and on the room update note, I did get a TV and, in addition, an Apple TV, and that has also changed my life. I love it. In the mornings, I get ready, I put on my favorite podcast to listen to while I'm getting ready, and then I just get beep bop around my room. I change, I do my makeup, I do everything, and I love just having the TV in this. It really just kind of creates an atmosphere, which is so nice, because it does take up a lot of the wall. Yeah, but I love that. I've also never had a TV in my room, so it's been kind of a nice little change. Okay, now to what's really important, my new purses. I love purses, is no secret. If you follow me on anything, I love bags, and this year I invested in a YSL Mombasa bag, which is Tom Ford's, era of YSL, which is just so chic and cool. And yeah, I love my Mombasa bag. It is actually very spacious. I fit everything I need in there. It fits my headphones, my AirPod Pros. It fits, does not fit my laptop, but that's okay. I just carry that. But it fits a lot, and I love it. And it's brown, and it has the coolest little horn handle. I'll just put a picture of a Mombasa bag. I don't know if mine, but a Mombasa bag. The next thing I got was a Ghani bag this year. I had been on the hunt for a black small bag that I can take to concerts and like wouldn't get yelled at, and could take to dinner or like wear to a wedding and it wouldn't look weird. And I found this perfect little Ghani bag. I think it's called the Butterfly Nano bag or Butterfly Mini, something like that. Very cute. It comes in so many colors if you don't like the black one. But I actually get so much use out of it. I think my cost per wear is down to like $2 a time I wear it, because it's just so easy to style and so easy to travel with, so easy to like chuck into a bigger bag and whatever. I love it. It's so good. I have never ever regretted that bag, and it just always looks cute, and I always feel cute wearing it. It has a little top handle, so I'm just always carrying it. Little top handle. Okay. The next things I'm really excited about is gold necklaces and like chains. I don't know. I'm going to talk about this in the next one. So I guess kind of all bleeding together. But when I went to New York earlier in the year, I went to a few gold jewelry places there and really wanted to get some charms and like a gold necklace that I can invest in. I think accessories are very personal to you and are very important. They really can make or break everything, a look. And they're also like a calling card to a degree of something that is just very uniquely you, your style, that time, that era of you. And I think that's very important and fun. And so I wanted to invest in that. And I went to a few gold jewelers in New York and some flea markets, and they had gold things there. So I got this gorgeous like vintage locket, and I got a fortune cookie charm, and I got a gold chain as well. And they look so cute together with the other gold necklace that I already had. And so, yeah, I love things like that. And every time I wear them, I'm also attached to those memories. Now they're like sentimental, of course. Okay. Next is places I've been to. This year was a big year. I didn't go to Europe, unfortunately, but I did go to New York twice, which is very exciting. In April, I went to New York for the first time with my best friends, and it was so beyond perfect. I loved New York. We stayed in the financial district, and we just kind of went all around. I had never seen the city before. I got to just hit really quick all of the tourist stops on my last day in the city. So that was great. I also really like doing that because I don't really care about, the tourist traps, but it was so much fun. I loved being there. We did a little shoot for this podcast, but also for other projects that we had going on as well with me and my friends. And so that was just great. I loved being a part of that. I loved working with them and spending time with them. It was just a good time. We went to Django, which is a jazz bar, and we went to another restaurant, which I didn't know was also a jazz bar. That one was called The Nines, and they had cheetah print carpet, which I was addicted to, of course. It was just so much fun. I love that city. And then the second time I went was kind of for work, kind of for fun. Me and my best friend were just walking around, seeing everything. We just, I don't know. It was like that trip was way more chill than the first one because we had so much we wanted to see. But it was great. We went thrifting in Brooklyn. I wanted to find a Sunny's Angel so bad, and so I finally found a Sunny's Angel. Yeah, I just love that city. There's literally no place on earth like New York, and it's awesome. Oh, and of course, I had a whole podcast dedicated to this, but I did go to the Met as well when I was there, which was top priority, and saw Rothko in person and just sobbed. So yeah, I think if you have never been to New York, it is absolutely worth the trip, and you'll probably fall in love with it as well. So, the other place that I went to this year, which is a little bit random, is Ohio. Two of my best friends moved over there, and they moved their family over there, and so we all went to go visit them with my other best friends, and it was actually just so much fun to see them. It was so much fun to. I'd never been to Ohio before, never, not a Midwest girl, but I will say it did look a lot like District 12. um, but anyways, it was really great. I was great seeing them. It was great spending time in a new city. I love doing that. I love going to like different coffee shops, experiencing what the city has to offer. We also did a little bit of vintage shopping, did a little bit of thrifting. I love it. I think it's just chill and fun. And they're the kind of friends that I see them again, and it really is exactly how it was. It never stopped being like how it was, which is amazing and quite rare, I think. So that's very cute. Would I go back or want to live there? Ugh. To see them? Sure. To live there? Never. Okay, this is our last segment. We're talking about favorite podcast of the year, and it would be remiss of me to not mention my own podcast. Of course, I love doing this. I love talking. But I also love just hopefully bringing a different perspective into your life, whether it's with the mumbo jumbo I'm talking about or the incredible people that I have on the podcast to talk about their lives and their perspectives and their experiences. My top 3 episodes of You Are Here .pod this year are Monica's, which we had 2 weeks ago, I think 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, my bad. Talking about her story and talking about abortion, talking about politics a little bit, talking about her life and church hurt and all those different things. I love speaking to her. She is one of the most incredible women I know, and it's such an incredible podcast. Truly, I hope you listen to it, or you have listened to it and you walked away, feeling something, because it's just amazing. So I really, really loved that. I learned so much about just that process, and I also learned so much about myself and the way that I have been educated, or the lack thereof education in this area. So I think I said that a little silly, or whatever. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. It's a great podcast episode. Okay, the next one that I really liked was actually with Derek. You may have forgotten we did this podcast, like me. But I did love having this conversation all about gay marriage, LGBTQ, and their relationship with the church and things like that. He shared his story as well, and it was just such a great podcast. Every time I speak to Derek, and really anybody who's queer in the LGBTQ community, I just walk away feeling so like dumb. I have no obviously experience, but dumb in a great way, dumb in a way that I need to be more compassionate and more understanding, and just more sensitive to all of the experiences that queer people carry in this world, and hardship as well that they've experienced in this country in particular. But anyways, excellent podcast episode. Derek is so cool and very brave to share his story as well. So you guys definitely hear that one. And my last favorite one was with Chelsea. Chelsea also was on this podcast 2-3 times. We did another episode with Chelsea and Hallie, and then Chelsea did a solo one as well. Both of them are awesome, but the one that I'm talking about is specifically about her journey with her church trauma, her church hurt, whatever. It's so great. She talks about forgiveness, talks about carrying bitterness, letting go, growing up, choosing to be better than people trying to make you less than yourself. Or else you make you feel less than yourself. It is just so good. I promise you listen to 5 minutes and you will get something amazing from her. She is so amazing. One of my best friends in the whole world, and so wise. Just awesome. So love those are my top 3. And just for fun, any that I talked about clothes, even though they don't do well. I just love talking about clothes. I love talking about fashion. Okay, and then my 2 like not myself podcasts are well, okay, wait, actually I have 3. I just realized I forgot to write one down. My second one is Always Booked, of course. I have a podcast with some other friends who have also been on my podcast, but we have one about books called Always Booked, and it's so much fun. It's a book club on podcast. We talk about a book that we're either reading for our real life book club or a book that we have read that we all love, and we just kind of discuss around it. Like I was saying at the beginning when I was talking about books, obviously books are so important, writing is so important, and what you extract from these stories is so will like resonate within you. And so we just kind of talk about that. We talk about everything. We talk about fun things about these books, silly takes that we have or theories, but we also talk about what these authors are trying to convey through their complex, nuanced characters. So it is always a good time. You guys check it out. Always Booked. I'll put it somewhere. My next one is Apple News Today. I've never been like a news girl. I don't watch the news like a normal person. But Apple News Today is so great. It's like 13-minute long episodes, and they just kind of do quick hits of top news around the world. It was super helpful around the election, of course, because there's so much going on and so many moving parts. So it was really great to hear that election coverage, and it is like a perfect amount of time to get ready in the morning and to hear the news and to be informed. I really liked that, and it's just fun. They always have a fun little story at the end where it's just like one day it was about the 13-foot tall skeleton that was going viral and everybody was buying. They talked about that. Like, it's just cool. So I think if you want to be more informed, if you want to get into the news more, and not your news feeds, you should definitely listen to Apple News Today. And my last one is Mindshift with Erwin McManus and Aaron McManus. Erwin is a pastor and a speaker and an author, and his son helps him kind of alongside all of those projects. But I've just never heard anyone communicate the way Erwin does, and really the way he thinks is just so interesting and very just layered. It's like listening to a philosopher speak about life. And it's a Christian podcast. Obviously, he's a pastor, but it's not very pastoral. I think it actually leans more towards like development, self-help kind of. But it is just so great. He's so insightful, very wise. His background is so diverse, and I always walk away, even if I didn't really necessarily agree with everything, I always walk away thinking a lot more, and I really appreciate that. I love people that challenge my paradigms, that challenge my perspective, and even my experiences, you know? Okay, but those are all of my favorite things for the year. That was a lot. I feel like that wasn't even everything. It was just all my favorites, which is kind of insane. But yeah, I think next year there's definitely going to be more books. I'm going to keep on reading. More shows. I really would love some more show recommendations. I know we have the next season of Severance coming out, which I'm excited about. That's pretty much all that I'm excited about when it comes to shows. Oh, not true. Summer I Turned Pretty. That one as well. Movies, obviously Wicked Part 2, but that's not going to be for forever. I don't know what other movies I'm excited about for next year. Does a Beatles movie come out with Paul Mescal? Who knows? But yeah, next year I do want to travel out of the country again. I need to renew my passport. That's gonna be a situation. But I would love to go to Italy next year. I would love to have some more guests next year. I think I really want to get into some more challenging conversations around things that are a little, maybe more, I don't don't know, maybe more layered things that people would argue with. More spicy. Derek just said that. Yeah, you know, I am very interested in that. And I feel like other people are as well. Hopefully. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I think next season is going to be really great. I have a lot of ideas. And I have a lot of vision and exciting things. I hope that this is just a great place for you and a safe space for you to feel chill and to feel seen and yeah, maybe just understood. I don't know. But I'm really glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're sticking along for the journey. And I am so excited for next season. It may look a little different. We may switch some things up. You know, we're figuring out the logistics of it all, but I will still be here, and Derek will still be here. And we are going to have a good time no matter what. We're all going to grow up and figure it out together, okay? But I think that's all I have to say. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at youarehere.pod. You can follow my personal at Danielle Gutierrez. And we do want to hit 100 subscribers. Please, please, please. Please, please, please. Don't demonetize this video, YouTube. We don't have it monetized? Oh, thank goodness. I always worry about that. So I can sing it?
No, all of it.
Okay. Right. Okay, well, I think that's it for the end of the year. This episode is so crazy. I like that we're devolving at the end here. I think that's really all that I have. I'm not forgetting anything to mention anything. Great. We'll drop all the links in the description. I'll also put I'll put all my favorites in the description as well, just so you can read them and, you know, have them there too. Okay. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye. Love you all.